Another year and another guard in the fourth round by the New England Patriots. What's going on, Pats Nation? It's your boy Colby with Patriots Global back here with another one. We're continuing the prospect breakdowns here. As always, make sure you guys do leave a big like on these videos on your way in because there is a lot of competition when it comes to these types of videos, these prospect breakdown videos. So it really helps me get out there with the YouTube algorithm. But also make sure you check out my other prospect breakdowns. We're going to be breaking down every single selection in their own respective video. We already have out every other selection the Patriots have made, from Jalen Polk to Drake May. We got them all out, so make sure you guys go ahead and check those out. But to start day 3 here in the fourth round, the Patriots had the third pick to start the day in the fourth round, and they decided that they were going to go with a Layden Robinson guard out of Texas A&M. Let's break this down. So look, I don't want it to seem like I'm talking crap about the selection because I do think that there is a lot of potential with this one. But I look at who was on the board still, and I just say, is there better value that we could have went here? Just because the Patriots went with 3 guards last year, just a year ago in the 2023 draft, right? Because you got Jake Andrews, who, yeah, probably more of a center than a guard, but you got Sidy Sow, you got Antonio Mafi. Those guys are still developing. And I do think we saw some ups and downs from someone like Antonio Mafi, who plays over at left guard, but we saw some promise. And Sidy Sow looked like a starting caliber right guard. So for me, it just comes down to how are we going to get all of these guys on the field? Because obviously there's only 2 places, 2 positions for starting guards. Not to mention that in 2022, you selected Cole Strange in the first round to be your starting left guard. But we're going to break down a little bit later some scenarios that I could see happening. Layden was a 4th to 5th round projection, so it's really not like the Patriots reached here. I just think an overall value for team needs, they probably could have gone in a bit of a different direction. I mean, you see guys that went after the Patriots selection, even before. I mean, Troy Franklin and Jatavion Sanders going right before, 2 players that maybe the Patriots could have gone with there at 103. But even guys that went after, Theo Johnson is a guy that we've talked about before. We'll get into Javon Baker a little bit later. But Javon Foster, a pure left tackle that I really, really liked here in the 4th round. That's somebody else that you could have gotten. Honestly, I'm surprised that they didn't go with somebody like Mason McCormick if they were going to go guard, because that's someone who I personally had a lot higher. Cade Stover even went later. Malik Mustafa also went later. But one that really stood out to me was 130 to the Ravens with TJ Tampa, who was projected to go a lot sooner than the 4th round. The Patriots ultimately did get a cornerback a little bit later, but the value you could have gotten for TJ Tampa to start the 4th round, I thought definitely outweighs the selection you made with getting a guard at 103. Now, for starters, Robinson is definitely a bit undersized. 6'4", 315 pounds. He is still fairly young, still only 22 years old, so he does still have that time to develop. Patriots did meet with him at the Senior Bowl, so they do have experience with him. That ultimately was their first interaction with him. Also, he does not have like positional versatility in terms of guard to tackle. So this isn't going to be one of those situations where they try him at tackle. He's purely going to be a guard. Now, throughout his 3 years in college, I mean, he didn't really play anywhere else other than right guard. He played 622 snaps at right guard in 2021, 753 snaps at right guard in 2022, and 690 snaps this past season in 2023. So he probably does pin himself in more as a right guard transitioning to the NFL, but with the guard position, it's a lot easier to swap. You can play left guard and the transition is a lot easier than if you're going from guard to tackle, or even if you are a tackle and you're going from the right side over to the left side. And honestly, I think that Elliott Wolf just likes the value that he's getting here, because back in 2021, Layden Robinson actually looked like he could be maybe like a 2nd round interior offensive lineman. And I think if he performed in 2023 the way he did in 2021, then we're talking about him being one of the more top echelon interior offensive linemen. In 2021, he put up a PFF grade of 80.7. Unfortunately, he took a major step down in 2022 when he put up a PFF grade of 56.6. And then this past year was able to have a better season, but was still not able to replicate that 2021 season where he put up a 65.7 overall PFF grade. Now, I do think he does need a little bit more experience in the chamber too. 11 games in 2023, 12 games in 2022, and 10 games in 2021. Now, statistically, this past season, he allowed a 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and 10 hurries, as where in 2022, he allowed 4 sacks, 11 hits, and 21 quarterback hurries. That elite season he had where he put up an 80 overall grade in 2021, 0 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, and 8 pressures. And again, I think that that is where the selection is coming from, is that they feel if they can get him back to that 2021 version, that the value here of a 4th round exceeds what you're going to get from the player. Now, his bread and butter is definitely going to be as a run blocker. Him as a pass protector is definitely a work in progress. I think that's where he mostly does need to develop. He's going to excel more as a zone blocker and a zone blocking scheme. And again, it's not that he can't be a pass protector at the NFL level. He's just very inconsistent. I think he's very raw at doing so, but he is immediately going to be plugged in as a starting caliber run blocking offensive lineman. Run blocking grade this past year of 69.4, a zone grade of 74.2. When it gets into pass blocking, though, not so great. 61.2 overall pass blocking grade. He's also not going to fit very well in a gap scheme. 57 overall grade in gap scheme with a true pass blocking grade of 53.5. Now, other than just his ability in terms of run blocking, he is also quick. He's more quick out of his stance, especially for a guy his size. Not just that, but he is also very lengthy, as you can see with these pictures. And that's definitely a pro to his game that you just can't teach. Some more concerns, though, little bit late, little bit tardy from what's been said about his striking in terms of getting out of his stance, getting to the defender, and actually putting his hands on the defender. A little bit late with that. But again, the Patriots offensive line coaches, and I say coaches because they have like 3 different offensive line coaches that they added this offseason, they are going to prioritize hand placement, hand movement. So that is something that I'm not concerned about whatsoever. Now, a little bit of a bigger concern is that he did miss the last 2 games of 2023 due to an injury. That doesn't seem like it's a nagging injury because he did get invited, like I said, to the Senior Bowl, and he did participate. He was a 3-star recruit from the 2019 class, and again, has 33 total career starts over at right guard. Now brings up the glaring question on why did the Patriots draft him? Like I said, obviously, I do think that they like the value if they can get him back to that 2021 version of himself. But again, you drafted 3 guys in the interior last year. What is the ultimate outlook with this move? Because you did draft him high in the 4th round. So clearly, you're hoping that he's going to be a piece for you somewhere down the line. And what you have to remember is that Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, they were not the ones to draft 3 interior offensive linemen last year. They were not the ones to draft Antonio Mafi, Sidney So, and Jake Andrews. So they might not be Elliott Wolf and Gerard Mayo guys. They might not fit in the system that they are going to try to run. And it is the exact same thing with Cole Strange. And honestly, with the issues with Cole Strange, I wonder if that's a guy that they believe is part of their future. What I could see happening is the Patriots heading in to mini camp, OTAs, training camp, and just seeing what they have. At the end of the day, you have several players now between offensive tackle and especially interior offensive linemen have a competition. Nobody is guaranteed any spot, and whoever performs the best is ultimately going to get those spots, right? The more shots you take, ultimately, at some point, you're going to have to come out with some star-studded players, and I think that's kind of the overall thought process. And then once you have to get down to training camp, roster cutdowns, maybe if you say, all right, Cole Strange is getting beat out here by Sidney So or Antonio Mafi, we're going to ship him off for a late-round pick. Maybe that's what the Patriots ultimately decide to do. Obviously, you're probably thinking that with another addition of a guard, that Michael Onwenu is going to be staying at tackle. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to put him over at right guard. None of these other guards have, guard to tackle versatility. We tried that with City So. It didn't work out. So I'm thinking that this is a pretty good sign that Michael Onwenu does stay out long term at right tackle. But what are your guys' thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. And, of course, never forget, go Pats.